Hi, in this interview, I am going to invite one of my friends who has experienced depression. We will talk about how she feels when undergoing depression, why she feels that way, and also how she thinks other people think of her. Lastly, how did she find a way out? We will refer to her as Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for agreeing to take the interview with me.
Hello, I would love to talk about my experience with depression a few years ago, as I recently feel a lot better.
Great. That would be so nice of you. I believe many people would like to learn the symptoms and how people felt during the depression.
Yeah, actually, I think some people have a color glass towards people who are enduring mental illness like depression. I really want to give some correct points about the mental illness depression.
Okay, so to begin with, can you tell us about how you realized that you might get the depression?
Sure. So at first, I did not feel quite serious about this. I was thinking maybe it was just a thought that will disappear if I do something interesting to me. However, I have realized I became sad and depressed easily, from 2 times a week to 4 or 5 times a week. This kind of feeling will normally take plus a day. This is kind of happening periodically, which is not going to be affected by time or place or events happening in my life.
Oh, so you mean it does not happen all the time, instead just periodically at first?
Well, you can say that, for example, during that time I cried without any specific reason. I just can't control myself. Can you believe it? That was even a few minutes after I went out on a date with my friend. When I realized this kind of emotion happened too frequently, I Googled online. It said I probably had depression. Surprisingly, I even felt relieved because I don't need to be guessing around. However, I was still afraid of telling my friend and family because when I tried to reach out for help, people all said I was just thinking too much and things like everyone has this problem or sad feeling. It's not a big deal.
Wow, I get the point of color glass part you mentioned at the beginning now. So how did you do after you realized you probably had depression?
After a few weeks of mental breakdown, I encountered a flu. Every time when I tried to take medicine, I always had the thought of taking more than I was allowed to. Maybe that can end my pain. When I realized I was trying to suicide, I felt scared of my thought and decided to tell my mother. However, she told me I just spent too much time surfing online. That's why I misconsider myself as a psycho. That word of psycho actually hurt me a lot, and the situation of my illness just became worse. I started to have thought of falling from a high building or place. Whenever I passed the river near my school, I would look down and think, what would happen if I jumped from here? Time after time, I felt despair and finally was defeated by the illness. I went to the balcony, trying to jump down from there, but luckily, my mom found me when she was going to hang the clothes and stopped me. This time she finally believed my symptoms and took me to the doctor.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that you are trying to do that. So, do you find going to see doctors worked?
Yes, actually, during that time, I went to see my doctor several times a month and constantly taking pills. Although that type of feeling of depression still exists sometimes, but it is a lot better than before.
I'm glad to hear that. Do you have anything you want to say to others who are currently going through depression?
Absolutely. Well, the main point is this: don't feel like this is the end of the world. You can talk to your friends and family about this. They will help you to go through the illness. And don't hesitate to see the doctors. Nothing comes better than some professional advice. Lastly, properly taking the right medicine given by the doctor can also help you guys can do it. Remember, there are a lot of people nowadays who have depression. They are just afraid to say it out loud. So don't feel like everyone will hate you or view you differently after you reveal it. It is just like a physical illness. The only way to cure it is to face it and require professional help.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. I believe when they heard this, they will feel warm in their heart. And thank you for your sharing and advice. I appreciate that.
It's okay. Thank you for inviting me. Bye.
Bye.